Magician. The processes described will enable him to discriminate between what he actually is and what he has fondly imagined himself to be. He must behold his soul in Ali, its awful nakedness. He must not fear to look on that appalling actuality. He must discard the gaudy garments with which his shame has screened him. He must accept the fact that nothing can make him anything but what he is. He may lie to himself, drug himself, hide himself, but he is always there. Magic will teach him that his mind is playing him traitor. It is as if a man were told that Taylor's fashion plates were the canon of human beauty, so that he tried to make himself formless and featureless like them, and shuddered with horror at the idea of Holbein making a portrait of him. Magic will show him the beauty and majesty of the self which he has tried to suppress and disguise. Having discovered his identity, he will soon perceive his purpose. Another process will show him how to make that purpose pure and powerful. He may then learn how to estimate his environment, learn how to make allies, how to make himself prevail against ale powers, whose error has caused them to wander across his path. Definition: magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. 16. Illustration: it is my will to inform the world of certain facts within my knowledge. I therefore take magical weapons, pen, ink, and paper. I write incantations of these sentences in the magical language, i.e., that which is understood by the people I wish to instruct. I call forth spirits, such as printers, publishers, booksellers, and so forth, and constrain them to convey my message to those people. The composition and distribution of this book is thus an act of magic by which I cause changes to take place in conformity with my will. 1. I'll postulate. Any required change may be effected by the application of the proper kind and degree of force in the proper manner, through the proper medium, to the proper object. Illustration: I wish to prepare an ounce of chloride of gold. I must take the right kind of acid, nitrohydrochloric and no other, in sufficient quantity and of adequate strength, and place it in a vessel which will not break, leak, or corrode, in such a manner as will not produce undesirable results, with the necessary quantity of gold, and so forth. Every change has its own conditions. In the present state of our knowledge and power, some changes are not possible in practice. We cannot cause eclipses, for instance, or transform lead into tin, or create men from mushrooms. But it is theoretically possible to cause in any object any change of which that object is capable by nature, and the conditions are covered by the above postulate. 3. Theorems. 1. Every intentional act is a magical act. 1. Illustration: see definition above. By intentional, I mean willed, but even unintentional acti so seeming are not truly so. Thus, breathing is an act of the ill to live. In one sense, magic may be denned as the name given to science by the vulgar. 17. 2. Every successful act has conformed to the postulate. 3. Every failure proves that one or more requirements of the postulate have not been fulfilled. Illustrations: there may be failure to understand the case, as when a doctor makes a wrong diagnosis and his treatment injures his patient. There may be failure to apply the right kind of force, as when a rustic tries to blow out an electric light. There may be failure to apply the right degree of force, as when a wrestler has his hold broken. There may be failure to apply the force in the right manner, as when one presents a check at the wrong window of the bank. There may be failure to employ the correct medium, as when Leonardo da Vinci found his masterpiece fade away. The force may be applied to an unsuitable object, as when one tries to crack a stone thinking it a nut. 4. The first requisite for causing any change is qualitative and quantitative understanding of the conditions. Illustration: the most common cause of failure in life is ignorance of one's own true will, or of the means by which to fulfill that ill. A man may fancy himself a painter and waste his life trying to become one, or he may be really a painter and yet fail to understand and to measure the difficulties peculiar to that career. 5. The second requisite of causing any change is the practical ability to set in right motion the necessary forces. Illustration: a banker may have a perfect grasp of a given situation, yet lack the quality of decision or the assets necessary to take advantage of it. 6. Every man and every woman is a star. That is to say, every human being is intrinsically an independent individual with his own proper character and proper motion. 7. Every man and every woman has a course, depending partly on the self and partly on the environment which is natural and necessary for each. Anyone who is forced from his own course, either through not understanding himself or through external opposition, corns into conflict with the order of the universe and suffers accordingly.